Have you ever felt that spark fade in a relationship? Maybe as your partner's appearance changes over time. It's tricky territory for sure, and a topic a lot of people avoid talking about.
Definitely delicate. But, we can't shy away from these things, can we? Physical attraction is a real part of romantic relationships, but it's also really complex and it evolves over time.
Exactly. And that's why we're doing this deep dive. Not to offer easy answers, but to explore all those different perspectives and see what we can learn.
Right. To give our listeners some tools to think about these things.
So today we're going to jump into a real-life situation that sparked a lot of debate online. Someone posted on Reddit's Ask Men Advice forum about how his wife had gained weight after they got married. He said he was less attracted to her, and there was tension. The post got hundreds of responses, some supportive, some brutally honest, some, well, downright harsh.
Yeah, that's Reddit for you. But it gives us a fascinating window into how people grapple with this issue. All those different viewpoints and solutions and beliefs about relationships.
It's like a crash course in relationship dynamics right out in the open.
Absolutely. Some folks emphasized honesty above everything else, while others were all about kindness and compassion. Some focused on personal responsibility for health, and others brought up those in sickness and in health vows.
You might be surprised by the range of opinions we uncover today.
Oh, I'm sure we will.
The aim is to equip you, our listener, with insights to navigate similar situations. With empathy and understanding, of course.
Of course. So let's start by dissecting that original post. The husband described how his wife's weight gain was affecting their intimacy and his attraction to her. He seemed really torn between wanting to be honest with her but being afraid of hurting her feelings. He even said, telling her will crush her heart.
Oof. Yeah, that's tough. And the comments immediately split into two camps. You had people advocating for direct communication, even if it's uncomfortable. Like one person just came out and said, your only options are to tell her what the problem is or keep quiet and fight until you break up.
Straight to the point.
Yeah. But then others said, hey, you can be honest, but you got to do it with empathy. This is a tough conversation to have.
Sure. And then the other side of the coin, well, they basically question the husband's commitment. Like, if her looks are your only source of attraction, you're the problem.
They basically called him shallow, right?
Pretty much. One woman even said people got to stop putting all their eggs in one basket. Looks fade, you always need other things to love about your partner.
That's what makes this deep dive so valuable, right? We get all these angles. But let's go deeper. Beyond those initial reactions,
Yeah.
one thing that kept popping up was this tension between personal responsibility and the whole in sickness and in health commitment.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Some people were adamant that everyone has a responsibility to maintain their health and appearance, even in a marriage. One guy said, and I quote, might be an unpopular opinion, but yes, she can control her body to lose weight. She's not pregnant, but
Mhm.
overweight. Strong words.
Wow, yeah. And of course, that sparked a whole other debate about whether weight is always a choice or if other factors are at play. Health conditions, life circumstances.
Definitely. Raises a big question, doesn't it? What responsibilities do partners actually have to stay healthy and, well, attractive in a marriage?
Right. One commenter even said, if you love your wife, you won't let her kill herself.
Hmm.
Like implying he's got to step in, even if it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, wow. On the other hand, some folks argued that pushing someone to change can backfire, hurts their self-esteem and all that. They said the focus should be on overall well-being, not just looks.
Makes sense. And amidst all the philosophical debates, there were some really practical suggestions, too.
Oh, I love those. What did they say?
Well, one person said the husband should frame it as a team effort. Hey, honey, I want to get healthier. Want to hit the gym with me? Like making it about shared goals.
Ah, that's smart.
Another suggestion was to go the indirect route. The husband could start making healthier choices himself, and maybe his wife will follow suit. Like, just start exercising together. No need to say you're not attracted to them anymore.
Interesting. It's all about how people communicate, right? Some go for directness, others are more subtle.
Exactly. But no matter what, good communication is key.
Key is an understatement.
Okay, so speaking of communication, there were some personal stories shared that really highlighted its power.
Ooh, I love those. Give me an example.
One woman talked about her own experience. She said her ex told her, kindly, that he wasn't attracted to her anymore after she gained weight. She said it sucked to hear, but she appreciated his honesty. She ended up losing weight, getting in shape, and feeling great.
Wow, so honesty, even when it's hard, can be a catalyst for positive change.
Absolutely. But we got to acknowledge, not every conversation is going to have such a rosy outcome,
True, true. Some relationships might not be equipped to handle such a sensitive topic, especially if there are other issues lurking beneath the surface.
right? Like insecurity or resentment. And that's where we need to start asking those deeper questions.
Hmm.
Because some commenters really challenge the husband to think about his values and priorities.
Ooh, I like that. What did they say?
One person asked, do people really get married without thinking this could happen? How would you feel if her weight gain was due to medical issues?
Heavy stuff.
Yeah. And another person said, even more bluntly, if you can't handle your wife's body because she gained some weight, you don't love her. Just a point-in-time idea of her. Harsh, but makes you think. Right?
Makes you think indeed. Those comments are like a gut punch, reminding us to consider those long-term implications of physical changes in a relationship.
Like, are we really ready to navigate those shifts with compassion and understanding? Or are we placing way too much emphasis on something as fleeting as looks?
Big questions, and it's time to dive even deeper. So we've been looking at all these reactions to that Reddit post, right? The husband's worried about his attraction to his wife after she gains weight. And as we've seen, opinions are all over the place. Some people are totally on his side. Others think he's being super shallow.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag for sure.
Yeah.
But it gets even more interesting when you start thinking about the reasons behind her weight gain. Was it just, like, lifestyle changes, or could something else be going on?
Exactly. The root cause can totally change how you approach the situation. One commenter actually brought this up. So she became fat in 1 year. By how much? 10, 20 kilos. You said she used to work out, so what changed in a year?
Good point.
And another person pointed out what they saw as a contradiction in the husband's post.
You said at the beginning that she isn't watching what she eats and doesn't train anymore, and that's why she gained weight, which is true. But then you say she can't control her body, which is it. Yeah. Sounds like maybe he's projecting his own discomfort or helplessness onto her. Maybe he's having trouble reconciling the woman he married with the changes he's seeing. But what if there are deeper reasons for the weight gain? Like stress, hormones, medication side effects, even mental health stuff. How did that change things?
Changes things a lot. If it's health-related, the focus should shift from blame and judgment to empathy and support. One person, assuming there was a medical reason, said, "You don't need to make it about your attraction to her fat body. You can make it about concern for her health. Start dieting and exercising together."
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Even if it's not medical, life throws curveballs. Jobs, kids, caring for parents. All that can impact our routines and habits. And if you ignore that context, you're heading for miscommunication and resentment.
Oh, for sure. One commenter shared a really intense personal story. My ex-husband didn't say anything until I was having a medical emergency in a moving car in front of our kid. And then he just yelled at me and piled on all these false accusations. I kicked him out that same day.
That's awful. Talk about letting resentment fester.
Right. Definitely a cautionary tale.
So how do we walk this tightrope? How do we balance being honest about our feelings with having empathy for our partner's situation? Because ignoring it doesn't seem like a long-term solution either.
No, it's not. It's all about finding that balance. And actually, the Reddit thread had some pretty insightful approaches. A lot of people suggested framing the conversation around health and well-being instead of just looks. Like, one person said, "Hey, honey, I've been feeling a bit sluggish, thinking about cleaning up my diet and exercising more. Want to join me? Could be fun to do it together."
I like that. It takes the focus off of her appearance and makes it about a shared goal. No blame, just teamwork.
Right. And another commenter, a woman, said this. "As a woman, I'd say something like, I'd like to start going to the gym and working out more. Love it if you'd join me. We can get healthier as a team. Hold each other accountable, you know?"
I love that. It's all about facing the challenge together.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot between honesty and compassion. And remember, communication is a two-way street. It's not just talking, it's listening. Truly understanding your partner's perspective, their struggles, their fears, that's essential to finding a solution that works for both of you.
This brings up another layer of complexity, though, because even if the husband approaches it with empathy, there's no guarantee his wife will be receptive. She might already be self-conscious about her weight, and his comments, however well-intentioned, could trigger those insecurities.
You're absolutely right. Sometimes the best thing we can do is be patient and supportive. Give our partners space to process their own emotions and make changes at their own pace.
So where does that leave us? It feels like we've covered a lot, but we still don't have a definitive answer.
Well, that's how it is with these complex issues. No easy answers.
Hmm.
But by looking at all these different viewpoints, considering the nuances of communication and empathy, we're better equipped to handle similar challenges in our own lives.
That's a good point.
And that wraps up part 2 of our deep dive into this sensitive topic.
In part 3, we'll tackle some of the tougher comments from the Reddit thread. You know, the ones that really made us squirm. We'll also grapple with that big question. Does a change in attraction mean there's a deeper problem in the relationship?
We'll also share some extra resources you can check out to keep exploring these issues, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been dissecting this Reddit post about a husband who's feeling less attracted to his wife after she gained weight. We've talked about communication, empathy, personal responsibility, all those tricky angles.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It has. But now it's time to face some of the more challenging aspects of this whole issue. You know, those comments that really made us think, whoa, that's harsh. But remember, we're not here to judge, just to help you, the listener, think through these situations with more awareness and empathy.
Exactly. As we look at these last few comments, keep in mind they represent a whole spectrum of views. Some might feel really insensitive, even brutal. But we're here to understand those perspectives, not necessarily agree with them.
Right. So buckle up, because things are about to get real.
Mm.
Because not all the Reddit comments were filled with sunshine and rainbows, right? Some were downright brutal, reflecting a much harsher view of relationships and personal responsibility.
True. Some people put all the responsibility on the wife to change with zero regard for her feelings or struggles. Like one guy said, you need to be straight up. I married you when you looked like this, and it's changed significantly. It's fully under your control. You can't let yourself go and expect me to still be attracted to you.
Wow. Just wow. Talk about tough love. And another commenter took it even further, basically issuing an ultimatum. Tell her to get in the gym or leave her. It's like they see relationships as purely transactional, where looks are the currency.
Yeah, you said it. It raises a big question. What are the expectations in a relationship? When you commit to someone, do you also commit to staying a certain way physically?
Right. I mean, people change. Bodies change. It's not realistic to think someone's going to stay frozen in time. But at the same time, neglecting your well-being can impact the relationship. Yeah. Intimacy, activities, even overall health.
You're right. It's a balancing act. And that's why this conversation needs to go deeper than just judging someone's appearance. It's about values, priorities. What does it really mean to love and support someone through all of life's changes, the good and the bad?
Okay, so let's play devil's advocate for a second. Let's say the wife is neglecting her health, and it's a genuine concern, not just for her husband's attraction, but for her own well-being too. How does he bring that up without sounding like a controlling jerk?
That's where the magic of compassionate communication comes in. Expressing concern without blaming, offering support without pressure. One commenter had a good suggestion. Tell her you're going on a diet and you'd love for her to join you for accountability. Mention it would be good for her health too, but don't focus on her body.
Ooh, I like that. It's about teamwork, a shared goal. It avoids putting her on the defensive, which can shut down any productive conversation.
Right. Another approach, a bit less direct, is to model the behavior you want to see. If the husband prioritizes his own health and fitness, it might inspire her to do the same. Plus, it shows his commitment to a healthy lifestyle, not just his desire for her to change.
So we've talked about so much. Communication, responsibility, empathy, but there's no magic formula, right? Every relationship is different, and what works for one couple might not work for another.
Totally. The key is to approach these conversations with respect and understanding for your partner. Relationships are a two-way street, remember? Listen to their perspective, understand their struggles, and work together to find a solution that honors both your needs.
We've covered a lot of ground today, but we've only scratched the surface. If you're finding these conversations helpful, I highly recommend checking out Shauna Pelage's YouTube channel and subscribing to the Voices of the Soul podcast. You'll find lots of great resources and support there to help you navigate relationships with more empathy and understanding.
We've really just begun to explore this complex issue, so I encourage you to keep the conversation going. Check out Shauna Pelage's YouTube channel and subscribe to Voices of the Soul for even more insights.
Here's a final thought to chew on as you continue on your own journey. If you're feeling less physically attracted to your partner, is it a sign of a deeper problem? Or is it a natural shift that can be navigated with honesty and compassion? The answer might surprise you.
Until next time, keep diving deep and keep those conversations flowing.